From the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, this is TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and alongside me, as it usually is, THI publisher Andrew Jones. You're probably wondering why we're not on the Smith Center court right now. There's music blaring in there as the cleanup crew is cleaning up the Smith Center after Carolina's 71-70 loss in Chapel Hill to Boston College. AJ, I guess we got to start with what went wrong today. We've seen some poor performances from Carolina this year. I think this one probably ranks as one of the worst ones we've seen so far. AJ, from watching the game, I was obviously on the court doing photos for us, so you had a little bit better vantage point up on press row and whatnot under the concourse. But what went wrong for Carolina today? If you have enough time to break everything down.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of things, but we're not going to drown you with that. I'm going to point out three things. Okay. Number one, shooting was awful.
It was.
The Tar Heels were 22 of 61 from the floor, and granted, they were 11 of 19 in a stretch in the second half, starting around the time that they trailed by 10. BC went up by 10. Carolina made a big push, took a lead, and then it kind of went back and forth. And the Tar Heels really executed pretty well. They hit shots.
Yeah.
B-Rob got a couple of looks. They attacked the basket a little bit more. A variety of players were scoring. It wasn't just Cole Anthony. But otherwise, they not just missed shots, but they didn't get a lot of really good shots.
No.
If you remember the way the offense looked in November, well, it kind of looked like that at times tonight. And I think a big part of this was integrating Cole Anthony back into things. Andrew Platek said that it's one thing to put a guy back in the lineup who had missed 2 months if he's a big man or if he's a wing or something like that.
Yeah, when he's your guy,
when somebody is so ball dominant like Cole, it just changes a lot of things. It's a greater adjustment for the guys to bring him back in. And I think that they dealt with that a lot tonight. And he and Andrew and Armando Bacot also admitted that there were times where they got caught watching him.
Yeah, just ball watching.
Not so much they were deferring, just watching, because he's so ball dominant, because he has an ability to create a shot for himself in difficult circumstances. So they're going to have to learn from this, see it on film, kind of shake themselves a little bit and move forward. It doesn't get any easier. Monday night in Tallahassee against the best defensive team in the league, so, or one of them anyway, with UVA. So that was one of the reasons. Another one was rebounding. Carolina was +7 tonight on the glass, but keep in mind that BC was one of the worst rebounding teams in America with a rebound margin of -5.4 coming in. Carolina was number 5 in the country at 9.5, and they only had a 7 rebound advantage and 9-8 second chance points. And Carolina missed a lot more shots than BC, so that was an area that they had to be thoroughly dominant in order to get a victory here, and they weren't. The other thing is defensively. The Tar Heels got beat baseline. They got beat on the dribble. They just didn't seem to have that extra step tonight that they had at NC State, that they had against Miami, that they had in Blacksburg. It wasn't there tonight. And as a result, BC, which is one of the worst offensive offensive teams in the country, 325 field goal percentage. Tonight they were way above their norm at almost 47%. They're also one of the worst three-point shooting teams in America, and they were way above their percentage tonight. A lot of that is BC making some tough shots.
Got to give them credit.
Derek Thornton had a few. A lot of it's Carolina just didn't defend at the level Carolina can defend.
Got to talk about Cole Anthony coming back. Obviously, 26 points for him. You talked about him kind of being that ball-dominant guy. He looked really good at times. Also looked a little shaky. I know towards the end of the game had a couple plays that he would have liked back, which he mentioned in his post-game presser, which you can see on our YouTube channel right here. But Cole Anthony's return, a lot of optimism coming into it. Carolina loses. Now it's kind of back to square one. But he did look good, and we kind of saw we kind of got what we expected from Cole Anthony and what we've kind of seen from him at times this year.
You just put it right. He was Cole Anthony.
Yeah, it was what,
that's what we saw before. You saw it again tonight. Some rush shots, some contorted, odd-looking, heavily defended shots that he kind of fired up there and didn't happen, and some beautiful moves. He has the ability to get stuff up, draw fouls. He was 14 of 14 from the free throw line. That's a great quality when your point guard can draw that many fouls. He's forcing defenses to constantly move and be aware of him. He did all those things tonight. He had 5 rebounds and 3 assists. He got a couple early assists to help get the offense going at one point in the first half when they were really, really stagnant there for a while. I think Cole was Cole. I don't think you can expect anything more or should be. This is who he is.
Yeah, that's what he does.
We saw him now. The last couple possessions, the last shot, he said afterward he should have called timeout. Armando said that he was going to set a flat screen for him, and there was some miscommunication there perhaps. And then on the third to last possession, the last 2 possessions, BC went zone. in the middle one, Cole had the runner
Yeah.
in the lane. They scored. But the one before that, he took like a 28-foot three-pointer that he airballed. BC went to his zone. It looked like the Tar Heels didn't recognize it immediately, and Cole, as the point guard, didn't appear to recognize it. And he did say they went into it, but then they went out of it. It was a really disjointed possession.
Absolutely.
And Cole needs to do a better job moving forward at recognizing those things and getting them into whatever they need to be in to handle that situation. Because teams are going to throw different defenses at him because they have to in order to try to slow Cole some.
Let's talk about moving forward, AJ. Obviously, it doesn't get any easier for Carolina. It just kind of feels like a game they really needed to win. We've had a lot of them, especially at the Smith Center this year, but traveling to Florida State on Monday night and then back home against Duke on the weekend. So, AJ, where does this team go from here? We talked after Cole Anthony's announcement that he was probable to play yesterday. We kind of talked about a little optimism going in. Oh, maybe Carolina can make the tournament. Maybe they can do it. This loss sets them back a whole lot. Yeah.
They've lost at home now to Wofford,
Yep.
Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh, Clemson, and Boston College.
It's bad losses. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a big surprise if 3 of those coaches that have beat him here in this building
Not
in the
here
last
next year.
month are fired at the end of the year. And they lost to those teams
That's
here.
the crazy part.
So as much as there was a path that we discussed yesterday for this team to get to the NCAA tournament, the path hasn't completely been washed away.
It's a little bit more complicated. Yeah.
But there's a lot of debris on the road right now. I mean, there was a storm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of debris, needs a lot of cleaning up, and these guys are going to have to. They're going to have to pick off a couple of these games at FSU. They got Duke next week. They still have to go to Louisville, which I think might be the best team in the league right now, and they have to go to Duke as well. I mean, they've left themselves very little room for error. This is a bad loss, and it's a bad loss with Cole Anthony on the court. Let's look at it this way. They've lost 3 in a row with Cole in uniform, and they've lost 4 out of 5 with Cole in uniform. And in the last 2 home games in this building, actually the last 3 games they played with Cole, home against Ohio State, averaging, and then today, they've converted, 54 field goals.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, so they need to pick it up. They need to pick it up quickly in order to combine the team that we saw for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, with Cole's greatness. Once those two merge together in a comfortable way and they move forward, this team could win a lot of games. But until they do that, it's very difficult to look ahead to Monday night and see them leave Tallahassee with a win.
No, absolutely not, AJ. Another loss for Carolina, 71-70 to Boston College. For TarIllustrated.com, I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Be sure to like this video, share it if you'd enjoyed it. Check out all the rest of our videos on our channel, and be sure to check out TarIllustrated.com. Thanks, guys.